The 2024 election is here. America faces an unprecedented choice between two powerful forces: Kamala Harris, symbol of progressive change, and Donald Trump, champion of the America First movement. But the question remains, can either truly deliver what America needs, or is this the ultimate showdown America didn't see coming? Let's get real about the promises each has made. Kamala Harris claims she'll fix healthcare, but critics argue that her plan is more optics than action. Remember when the Biden-Harris administration promised affordable care for all? Has that happened, or are we heading for more broken promises? And Trump, for 4 years, he vowed to repeal and replace Obamacare. But where is his solution? Can we trust that his second run will be any different? Next up, the economy. America's grappling with inflation, rising costs, and a struggling middle class. Harris argues for green reforms, progressive taxes. Trump says the answer is deregulation and oil. But let's face it, will either approach truly stop inflation, or are we choosing between two economic fantasies? Who's got the real plan here? Or is the American public being sold a bill of goods? On the world stage, Harris and Trump both face questions about their leadership. Under Biden and Harris, some argue the U.S. has shown weakness internationally, especially with conflicts in Ukraine and the Middle East. But can Trump's isolationist stance really make America stronger? What's America's future in the world? Are we destined for international isolation or losing ground as a global leader? Kamala Harris, the first woman of color in the White House, speaks of unity and diversity. But has her administration done enough to combat racial inequity, or is it all talk? And Trump? With his battle against so-called woke culture, is he defending traditional values or ignoring the realities of a changing America? America stands at a crossroads. You will choose who leads this nation. But here's the burning question. Do Kamala Harris and Donald Trump represent America's future, or are they relics of a divided past? Is this election about real leadership or settling old scores? Tell us, who do you think is best suited to lead this country forward? Comment below. Healthcare. It's a right, not a privilege. This simple yet powerful statement has been echoed by countless voices across the nation. From bustling city streets to quiet rural towns, the call for accessible healthcare resonates deeply with many Americans. But what does it truly mean to have healthcare as a right? And why is it such a contentious issue in the political arena? At least that's what they tell you. The reality, however, is far more complex. Conversations about healthcare often reveal a deep divide in public opinion. In coffee shops, living rooms, and online forums, people debate the feasibility and morality of universal healthcare. Some argue it's a fundamental human right, while others see it as an unsustainable financial burden. Kamala Harris is pushing for Medicare for all. It's ambitious, it's expensive. It might actually work. Harris's plan aims to provide comprehensive healthcare coverage to every American, eliminating the need for private insurance. Proponents believe it could simplify the healthcare system, reduce administrative costs, and ensure that no one is left without care. Critics, however, worry about the potential tax increases and the strain on government resources. Trump, on the other hand, wants to repeal and replace Obamacare. With what, you ask? Good question. His administration has proposed various alternatives, but none have gained significant traction. The lack of a clear, cohesive plan has left many wondering what the future holds for American healthcare. He's been awfully quiet on the specifics. Remember those pre-existing conditions? The ones that could bankrupt you if you even looked at a hospital the wrong way? The uncertainty surrounding these protections has caused anxiety for millions of Americans who rely on them. The ones that could bankrupt you if you even looked at a hospital the wrong way? Medical debt is a crushing reality for many families. Even a single unexpected illness or injury can lead to financial ruin, forcing people to choose between their health and their financial stability. Yeah, those might be back on the menu if Trump gets his way. The fear of losing coverage for pre-existing conditions looms large, casting a shadow over the lives of those who are already vulnerable. It's a stark reminder of the precarious nature of the current healthcare system. Harris wants to protect those with pre-existing conditions. Seems reasonable, right? Her plan includes robust protections to ensure that no one is denied coverage based on their medical history. This approach aims to provide peace of mind and security for millions of Americans who live with chronic illnesses or past health issues. But in this political climate, reasonable is about as common as a unicorn riding a Roomba through a Walmart. The polarized nature of today's politics makes it challenging to find common ground. Every proposal, no matter how well-intentioned, is met with fierce opposition and skepticism. The bottom line, Americans are drowning in medical debt. The weight of unpaid medical bills is a burden that many cannot escape. It affects their quality of life, their mental health, and their future prospects. The current system, with its high costs and complex bureaucracy, often leaves patients feeling overwhelmed and helpless. They're skipping life-saving treatments because they can't afford it. This heartbreaking reality highlights the urgent need for reform. No one should have to forego essential medical care due to financial constraints. The stories of those who have suffered or even died because they couldn't afford treatment are a stark indictment of the system's failures. This isn't just a political issue, it's a moral one. The debate over healthcare touches on fundamental questions about justice, equity, and the role of government in ensuring the well-being of its citizens. It's a reflection of our values and our commitment to caring for one another. And right now, it feels like we're failing the test. The challenges are immense, and the stakes are high. As the nation grapples with these issues, the need for thoughtful, compassionate solutions has never been more critical. The future of American healthcare hangs in the balance, and the choices we make today will shape the lives of generations to come. The economy. It's a word that carries immense weight and significance. It's the lifeblood of our nation, the pulse that keeps everything moving. But what happens when that pulse starts to falter? It's the engine of America, driving innovation, growth, and prosperity. Yet, like any engine, it needs regular maintenance and care. Without it, the engine can sputter and stall. And right now, it's sputtering like a used car salesman's promises. Promises that often sound too good to be true, and more often than not, they are. Inflation is eating away at our paychecks. Every trip to the grocery store feels like a gamble, with prices rising faster than our wages. It's a silent thief, taking more and more from our pockets. The stock market is playing hopscotch with our retirement funds. One day it's up, the next it's down. For those relying on their investments for a secure future, it's a nerve-wracking roller coaster. And don't even get me started on the price of gas. It's like watching a bad movie on repeat, with no end in sight. Every fill-up is a painful reminder of how far our dollars have to stretch. Trump claims he can make America great again. Part 2, Electric Boogaloo. His rhetoric is as fiery as ever, promising a return to better days. His solution? Tax cuts for the wealthy, deregulation galore. It's a familiar tune, one we've heard before, but will it work this time around? You know, the same policies that got us into this mess in the first place. Economic inequality is at an all-time high, and small businesses are struggling to keep their doors open. Harris is singing a different tune. Her vision for America is one of inclusivity and fairness. She's talking about raising the minimum wage, investing in infrastructure, and making the wealthy pay their fair share. It's a bold plan, one that aims to lift everyone up, not just the privileged few. Here's the thing, there are no easy answers when it comes to the economy. It's a complex web of factors, each one influencing the other. But we can't afford to ignore the problems any longer. But one thing's for sure, we can't keep doing the same thing and expecting different results. The cycle of boom and bust needs to be broken. That's the definition of insanity. We need fresh ideas, innovative solutions, and the courage to implement them. And right now, America is looking a little unhinged. The streets are filled with protests, debates are more heated than ever, and the divide between us seems to be growing. But in this chaos, there's also a chance for change. A chance to rebuild, to rethink, and to create a future that works for everyone. Global leadership or grandstanding, America's place in the world. America, the world's policeman. Or is it the world's bully? Depends on who you ask. Trump's foreign policy was, to put it mildly, erratic. He alienated allies, cozied up to dictators, and started trade wars like they were going out of style. Harris promises a more measured approach. Diplomacy first, military action as a last resort. But is the world ready to trust America again after the Trump years? The world is watching. China is rising. Russia is being Russia. The stakes couldn't be higher. America needs a leader who can navigate the complexities of the global stage, not someone who thinks international diplomacy is a shouting match on Twitter. The soul of a nation, healing the divides, bridging the gaps. America, the melting pot. A nation built on diversity. At least that's the ideal. The reality is a lot messier. Racial tensions are running high. Political polarization has turned us into two tribes, unable to even agree on basic facts. Can anyone bridge this divide? Can anyone heal the wounds that run so deep? Harris, the daughter of immigrants, embodies the American dream. She talks about unity, about equality, about bringing people together. Trump, on the other hand, thrives on division. He throws red meat to his base, stokes the flames of fear and resentment, and demonizes anyone who dares to disagree with him. The question isn't whether America can survive another 4 years of this. The question is, how much more can we take before we break? The verdict, a choice between two futures. So here we are, America, at a crossroads. One path leads to, well, let's just call it more of the same. The other, it's a bit hazy, to be honest, but it might, just might, lead to a brighter future. We've looked at the candidates, we've dissected their policies, we've laughed, we've cried, we've contemplated moving to Canada, again. Now it's time to decide. Who can really save America? Is it Kamala Harris with her promises of unity and progress? Or is it Donald Trump with his, well, you know what you're getting with him. The choice is yours, America. Choose wisely. Because the future of the free world might just depend on it. No pressure.